Heyo, it's the beginning of 2026. Woo! And my room is a disaster. It's a disaster for a good reason, though. I've been accumulating stuff in my closet. You can see it's open for years now, and I have not had a organizing system. I've just had like one three-tier pull-out drawer and then a pile of stuff that recedes back into the closet. I have since pulled everything out, constructed a four-tier shelf. You can see right there. It's like a cheap one that you'd put in like a garage. And I am now going through all of the stuff that was in there and deciding what to get rid of, and then putting back stuff in a way that is like somewhat organized or thought through. I actually started doing this out of an effort to keep myself occupied on a particularly hard day during the break. As much as I would have liked this break to just be completely relaxing and enjoyable, and I get to sit down and do my little projects, I think there's something valuable in facing a little bit of hardship during these times to like recover and then also kind of push us into the next part of life. I'm going back to work tomorrow. And I think this break and having a little bit of challenge throughout this break, emotionally, energy wise, I was with family a lot. Coming out of this break now, I actually feel a little bit of a sense of like, thank God I get to work every day. And that's certainly not how I feel most of the time. I don't necessarily expect that feeling to continue, but I think there's something valuable about that where life falls apart a little bit. You just take your time doing what you want for a long time. And then by the end of it, you're like, you know what? Actually, a little bit of structure, a little bit of responsibility would be nice. It gives me, my brain something to do. You know what I mean? In the past, I've been really into like reviewing my year and looking at my values for the previous year and coming up with values for this next year and how I'm going to like work towards those values. And I think that is a good thing to do, I guess, as a mental exercise, as to kind of know where you're going. But really the priority for me has been just getting to know myself, getting to know my emotions, learning the reasons behind the way I am and the way I feel and the way I respond to things, and then accepting that and trying new stuff. And honestly, that's kind of my goal. That's kind of and it has been my goal, but that's kind of my resolution in a way is like know myself, accept myself, and then try new things, whether that's doing things differently or a new interest or sharing something that I think and feel to somebody who's close to me, whatever it may be, and then learning from it. I think that's the best thing we can do. I also used to have so much fervor, or at least like craving to succeed in some of my personal projects, like my stream, like doing things online and growing, and the podcast and stuff like that. And those things have become much less of an intensity in me. And I think the reason is because I'm discovering that the things I mentioned, like getting to know yourself, accepting how you feel, and trying new things, that stuff precedes really thriving in life. That stuff precedes going after this stuff and it working really well. I think the most appealing thing about somebody is their ability to be unashamed of themselves and then accept others for how they are. Which may sound cliche, but in practice it's much more complex than it seems. It takes a whole lot of work to really understand what's going on and just be okay with that. And then to see somebody and like see that there's more going on than you can tell and be fine with that. When you go through that work, it makes sharing how you really feel, what you truly think, so much easier. It takes having an opinion that other people disagree with so much easier. It takes hearing opinions and meeting people whom you may differ a lot with so much less challenging, I suppose, because you understand all of this is fine and it is normal and it is just how people work. So, all that to say, I'm kind of going into this year feeling a little bit shaky, feeling a little bit, scattered, a little bit less focused. And I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing. I think at any point in life, it is totally possible that that is just the part of life we're in. That's just what this moment calls for. And I think I find some peace in that, knowing that this is actually just a part of the greater journey. And that out of this will probably come more clarity and more learning. You know what I mean? So maybe after this, I'll come around and be like, "Ooh, I know exactly what I want to focus on. I know exactly what I want to do." I guess I have some ideas already. Like, I want to be healthier. I've taken steps towards that, just eating healthier, being more active. I do want to lean into more projects like making videos and things. I want to perform well at my work. I want to really pour into my relationships. I want to be responsible financially and prepared to move. I want to learn things, get educated. And all of these things are kind of always happening, right? Like, the new year is a cool time to, like, I guess, be reacquainted with those things. But if those are things I know about myself and I'm just generally doing my best in each of those respective areas to, like, be mindful, then I'm doing it. Then we're doing the resolution thing. I think when it comes to things like substance use and like things that really clearly are affecting your quality of life, I think there's a lot of reason to have resolutions. I'm not anti resolution. I'm just kind of sharing how I feel like my relationship with goals and my own development has evolved. I think focusing on my own development and my own self improvement is just a way that I have also coped with my dissatisfaction of myself. And so I guess it makes sense that I'm getting to the point where I am more satisfied with myself, I suppose, or like more accepting of my situation. And as a result, I'm just a little bit less bent on really doing things the right way all the time. You know what I mean? We're just humans and we slip up and things are shaky, and that's how it is. So, if you're coming out of a break, going back into work, or if you're going into this next year feeling a little bit shaky, see it as a time where you can just know yourself, observe how life is going, and that you can trust that when you come out of this, you'll probably have a better idea of maybe what you want to do, and you'll maybe even have a better idea of how you want to go about that. I wish you all the best in 2026. I think it'll be a hard year. I mean, politically, 2025 was pretty disastrous. And, I don't think it's necessarily going to get a whole lot better, but there certainly is reason to believe that the resistance, that fighting is actually going to make a difference, if not in this next year, in the long term for sure. I'm going to do my best to do a little bit on my closet. It has been slow going. And then I have some time with my family, and then I have a date night. And that will be my day. And then tomorrow I will wake up early, feel really tired, probably not want to get up, and I will go into work and I'll do my day, and that'll be how it is. And then I'll do it the next day. Also, I think I'll probably stream for the podcast tomorrow evening. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's how my 2026 has started. I'm wishing you the best for your year. You got this. Let's do this. See y'all in the next one.